Councilor Manzer, Councilor Snyder, Deputy Warden Ross, Councilor Ross, Executive Director Taylor Robinson, CAO Tyler Bully, and Director of Finance, Coralie. Oh, myself, I'm the director. Now I'd like us to pause to seek guidance. And now, will I have Councilor Ross read the mission statement, please?
Mission statement is to provide, promote, or facilitate municipal services that meet the community needs while preserving, supporting, and enhancing the quality of life for all.
Thank you. The next, someone's trying to get in. Oh, it's Chris. You should have done it. Okay. The next is the approval of the agenda. Is there any additions or deletions? I believe that there's an addition.
Yeah, there is an addition, 4.3, letter to Department of Environment.
Yeah, I would like to make an addition, so for me.
Go ahead.
So we had about a month ago the discussion with the community in the islands about tax, so I would like to give feedback for the budget and tax discussion that we had there.
No, I'm listening to what you want.
Oh, okay, yeah, and also I just wanted to give some feedback and discuss what
Feedback, sorry.
what we got there.
You can remember, you talk fast.
Oh, yeah.
And low.
Yeah.
So I have to
I try to
really
use the
listen to you.
microphone, it doesn't help me much.
Well, sometimes everything's perfect, but when you start talking really low and fast, you've lost me at the gate. That's where I'm at.
Okay, sorry.
Me. Is there any other additions anyone wants to make to the agenda or delete?
I'll approve the agenda as amended.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded, motion carried. The next, is there any conflict of interest on any of the items here on the agenda? Hearing none, we will move on. There are no delegations or presentations tonight. So the next is the October 28th council meeting. Did anyone see any errors or omissions in those minutes?
Motion to approve the minutes of October 28th, 2025.
All in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded, motion carried. Just to go over our meeting dates, to remember, November the 26th, which is tomorrow, there is a joint council meeting at 6. December the 2nd at 5 p.m., there's a Nova Scotia Public Works. At 6 p.m. is bylaw and policy. December the 9th is committee of the whole. The 16th, 23rd, 30th, and the 6th of January, there are no meetings. And on January the 13th at 5 will be a committee of the whole again. Is there any concerns over that? Hearing none. Action items from previous minutes. Anyone need to bring anything up from before? Okay, then I will move on. The update on capital projects. Is there any questions for our CAO or comments? Okay. The financial report was sent out for October 2025. Does anyone have any questions or concerns? I'll bring up to the Director of Finance.
I just have one question on our environmental stuff with the wastewater and sewage and stuff. we got a lot of money budgeted for replacements and stuff, if they don't get used, it's just put into reserve for another year.
Yeah, that's right. Well, it doesn't get spent, so we still have the money for future years. But we do that every year just in case things come up,
Yeah.
so we don't have to come back with motions. Yeah, exactly.
So it goes into reserve.
It stays in there, yeah.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Nope.
Okay. Can I have a motion to accept the CAO's report?
Motion to accept the CAO reports.
All in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded, motion carries. The next from committee of the whole, recommendations for the fire training facility request.
I'll move that council contribute up to $10,000 towards the fire training facility.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded, motion carries. The next is the New Year's levy.
I'll move the council spend up to $1,500 to host the New Year's levy on January 1st, 2026 from 1 to 3 p.m. at the municipal office.
Second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded, motion carries. The next, there was a letter of support request from the University of St. Anne's. How do you feel?
I'll make a motion that we send a letter of support to the University of St. Anne to get funding for their pool.
Is there a seconder? Okay. Does anyone want to have any further discussion? I agree, I think.
No, yeah, no.
That, you know, they can get money for their pool because you don't want it to end up like Acadia. We'll shut down. All in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded, motion carries. The next is the Youth Summit invitation. And that's to invite to an upcoming youth summit. We share the opportunity for council. It's for 120 youth from Mariners, Digby, and Shelburne. So they want to know which councilors might want to represent the municipality at this event on April the 24th.
For now, I can say yes, but I mean, wait far ahead. I mean, I don't mind. It's Friday.
Is there anyone else interested? Just checking.
Was it just one day?
Yeah, it's the 24th, but I don't think it gave the time, but I don't remember seeing.
This is in the morning. They got a 45-minute session. I mean,
I would go.
Okay. So then we have two, so.
I'll stand in as a backup in case one of them.
Yeah.
Okay. So now, that should hold us. I don't believe we need a motion to it. I just think it's under information, and please put it in your calendars.
They were looking for support to help with snacks and lunch.
Was that in there too?
Last
Oh, yes,
year.
that's right, in addition to seeking help to support, $100.
I'll take $50. A lot of other schools are going for it.
Still 120, and we at least two, I don't think, well, it's up to you guys, 50 or 100?
Make a motion that we donate $50 towards staff.
Is there a seconder? Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded, motion carries. The next is letter to the Department of Environment. What happened was, we were gonna send a letter, but it didn't happen. We just need to resend the motion, that, it didn't happen. Oh, did I miss one?
So just to add to what the ordinance said, so back in July, we made a motion to send a letter to the Department of Environment about the sharp disposal of equipment, and we no longer need to send a letter, so we're just looking for a motion to rescind the motion number C 2025-07-2212, letter to the Department of Environment.
C 2025.
Motion number C 2025-07-22-12. Just a motion to rescind it.
I'll motion to rescind, motion C 2025-07-22-12.
Is there a seconder?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded, motion carries. Now some information from you, Mr. Coogan.
All right. So we had this discussion with the island communities. One of the residents has even at the when we're at the campaign stage, she came up to me and asked, "Okay, what's your take on the municipal budget and all this?" And so we continued the conversation afterwards, and she wanted to find some way to review the way we approach our mill rates and our budgets and all that. There are a few things that she believes are unfair to the residents in the area. So I said, okay, let's take a look at this, see who else has the same understanding. Form a group. Let's have a conversation. You guys give me your feedback, what you think we should be looking at, and I'll bring it to council. We'll discuss. We'll see if there's anything we can do. Like our goal here is to serve the community in the fairest way possible. So we did that. So we had this conversation. There was a turnover about how many people came? About 25 people came. So the group we just had the daylight savings time change. It was a rainy night, not very, so 25 people, I think, was a pretty good group there. And one of the things that they brought that I found was interesting to look at is the fact that our mill rate is higher than other comparable municipalities. So they brought 4 comparables here: Argyle, Barrington, Clare, and Annapolis. So these range from 13% lower than our mill rates to 21%, which is significant. Of course, there are other factors that play into that, right? When balancing budget, like property assessments and all that. In the end of the day, there's on one hand there's the resident looking at what's their mill rate, on the other side is what does that mean in terms of budget for the municipality and how we pay for our services that we're providing, right? But I found, when looking at face value, it's there's something that we should be looking at. Some other concerns that they have brought is that in the case of the islands, these are not communities where you can say these are affluent communities, and yet some people there are paying $8,000 in property tax per year, which is absurd. When I look at that number, it's wow, like how.
What are they looking at? That they have to pay a village tax?
Yes, there's that consideration as well. Yeah.
Quite high.
So we're gonna get there. So I think it's a good segue there. So that was my follow-up question, right? So you do realize that you have an extra fee there to maintain the village commission, and a lot of these people were not aware of it, right? It was okay, all right. Well, how do we calculate this? Where does it come from? Who decides what's the village commission mill rate? So that sparked an interesting conversation as well. But even if we take out the 0.5% that Westport pays for their village commission, it's still a fairly significant money to be paying in property tax in a community where there's no high-paying jobs, or it seems unfair to me. And then I was that got me thinking, okay, what is the assessment of the property? Which I asked, and she said, well, it's my property was assessed in $450,000, which also seems quite high for Briar Island. Then she appealed, she got a reassessment, brought it down to $350,000, which is okay, great. Like, it's a significant reduction, but still $250,000, quite high for Briar Island. So I've met I don't recall his name now, but it was the representative of the PDSC for the municipal files in the NSFM conference, and we had a little chat and said, well, if you would like to review the method and see, like, ask us to do a reassessment of how this is calculated there, we can do that, but it has to come from the municipality. It has to be a request from the office. So okay, it's something that we have here in the backlog. We might want to do this, or we may not. Right, we'll have to decide. But from the feedback I got there, I think there's a case to look into how they're calculating this for the Nakan Islands, and especially for the islands. I think the assumption there is that it's an island. It's so nice to be close to water and everything, but there are other factors that come into play, right? And the real consequences to that is that the original people from the islands that make the community, that arguably are the soul of that community, are being pushed away. November 11th, from Remembrance Day, had a conversation with one of the residents there that is basically one of the greatest assets for the community in Westport. She's involved in pretty much everything that they do there, and now she just can't find a place to live there. She can't afford it. She'll have to leave Briar Island. And so, yeah, this gets me thinking, shouldn't we be looking at what we can do to make sure that the people who were living there before prices started going up, in order to keep them there, to allow them to stay and continue, and preserve the spirit of the place. Right? I think that's important here for us. And so out of the meeting, I came out with three actions. Right, one was to discuss with the PDSC, see what are the avenues for reviewing the methodology to calculate property valuations in that region. Second one was to check with the council here what's the appetite for reforming our tax structure. It doesn't have to be simple. Mhm.
What do you mean?
So I don't have a proposal, right? What I have is hypothesis. What we could be looking at is, well, there's the direct answer. We could be just reducing the mill rate.
You realize that because of the cap is one of the reasons we can't. We've kept the same rate for over 18 years, which is very good compared to the rest of the province. I think we're the only ones who've done that. And the other thing is, when you start comparing different municipalities, you got to look at apples to apples, not apples to oranges. You realize what the number of people that are in Annapolis County. It's nearly triple what we have here. The rate has to be less because there's more people with more assessments. I'm just mentioning that.
I think it's also important to point out that our mill rate is based on our expenses, right? So we don't just come up with a amount of property tax we want to charge and then, hey, this is what we have to spend. We look at what our expenses are, we do the math, and this is what we have to charge as our tax rate. So anytime you're looking at reducing that, it's, well, what expenses, what services are we reducing by the same amount? The other thing I'll say is the village rate. I wouldn't skip over that too quickly because that would immediately reduce the tax bill by 25 to 30%. That's not insignificant. That's a lot. That's
my thought.
Yes.
I just quickly looking at the village of Westport and Freeport. To me, it would make sense if maybe Freeport and Westport sent us their financials or a budget like we have at the top of our meeting with our financials, then we can take a look at that. Freeport doesn't even have one, and Westport has one, but I mean, maybe there's a way they do monthly recordings and budgets. We could take a look at that. Maybe there's some help there for that.
Who they have to send that to is just like us, up to the province. We're not making comments on it.
It's not like the province with us. They look at.
Province looks at us, province looks at them.
Okay.
And the province makes recommendations to it.
Okay. And they send stuff to them.
Yeah,
we're technically at the same level.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So I think on the point of the fact that the taxes finance our services is a hard sell for the islands because their arguments is, yeah, really, what services? Yeah, fine.
You hear that all over. You hear it in Malone, you'll hear it in Bear River, you will hear it, people live in Jordanville. It's happening all over. I mean,
I hear it.
assessments,
Yeah.
we can, but if the assessments are going to be looked at, they have to be looked at the whole municipality, not one section.
Yeah,
Because
I think so.
I can tell you how we go across with the upper part of Digby and the rest of my district, and I'm sure it'd be the same with every other district here. What do you mean? You get to look at only them?
Problem is,
I assume they're looking at waterfront just like we are.
yeah,
Mm.
the lakes and stuff, the assessments go way up. And I mean, 20 years ago, you got to remember, 2x4 was 99 cents a foot, or 9 cents a foot. Now it's $1 a foot.
Yeah.
And when you're building and adding on, the assessments, they do go up. It's
Yeah.
scary, but it's, and any water view, that jacks it up even more.
Mm.
I have the same problem in my district.
And when you come to sell, everybody likes to say price.
Yeah.
But when that comes back the other way, when you pay taxes on that, can't have it both ways. You can't
Yeah.
sell. I know the little 1-bedroom house across from us sold for $220,000.
One bedroom.
One bedroom.
I like the story, the lady saved $100,000 going to the PBSC. The system must work. That's good. I'm glad to hear that because
Some are,
$100,000 is quite a lot.
yeah,
I
most
figured
people who appeal
Some of them go up.
Yeah, I think what you said, George, is fair, but the truth is a lot of the people.
Somewhat.
Yeah, the thing is, not a lot of people are willing to sell, right? You talk to old-time residents in the island, they're not leaving, they want to stay. But it's unfair that they be pushed away because they can't afford the tax and they can't find really any source of revenue that will justify them
Like I
paying
said,
higher
our tax
taxes.
rate has not changed in 19 years.
Yeah, that's
Actually,
true.
it's before that. They say officially from 19, but we have, since I've been here, we've reduced taxes twice and has never gone up at any time. Only when it ever went up was we had to change the commercial.
Yeah.
And that was only because of the province and how they did things.
Yeah, and that's another thought that I had too after this meeting is that our commercial tax rate is higher than the residential. I wonder if, and it's not, it doesn't account for a lot of our budget. If I recall correctly, the residential portion is about $1 million out of a budget close to 11 million, something like that. I wonder if we lowered that portion, we would be incentivizing new business to come to the area.
So I agree with the logic. The only thing I will say is that our commercial rate is actually a lot closer to our residential rate than most municipal units.
Yeah.
Most municipal units have a really wide spread.
That's what Ruby and Toll.
If you compare ours to the town or any other municipality, there's usually $1 more to something. So I get the logic, but it's just those are very close.
Yeah.
A lot of them are over
Toll
$2.
many times that our commercial rates way too low.
Yeah, might be a silly example, but when I was a kid, I used to play a computer game called Sim City. That way you could you could define the tax rates for different industry and commercial and residential. And the best strategy in that game, that simulation at least, was to lower the industrial and the commercial taxes, so we would have more business and more jobs coming to your city, and then you would jack up your residential tax rate. So because that's where
Finally, one
it's
of your
coming from.
analogies that I understand.
Yeah.
In Sim City,
I can relate to that.
but
Residential.
in Sim City, you actually had industry that wanted to move in.
Yeah, exactly.
Every time industry wants to move here, we have groups that want to kick it out. So it's hard.
Yeah, but I'm thinking of the logic, right? Isn't there any chance that we could?
So when we go over the budget, like you can bring this up, we can have those discussions we do every year. If you have arguments, you want to push council to look at any of our rates, we will.
Yeah, what I'm thinking is that it doesn't have to be on the tax front, right? But I think that goal of stimulating business and bringing more activity here is it's priority for us, right? We tried lots of things, or maybe we discussed, but we didn't really try much in practice. I don't know, but what I'm thinking is that we either make a living more affordable in the sense of the cost of living, or we create more opportunity so that people can pay for the cost of living, right? A high cost of living and no opportunity is a tough equation to solve. So, and we don't have to sort that problem out. It's a complex problem, right? But I think um, it's a problem that we should be looking at, and the reactions to that problem are bubbling up there, and then people are discussing it. So we shouldn't shy away from the discussion.
Looking at is what that
The village commission,
response
yeah,
is.
and then
And I'm not
so
saying if they shouldn't have a village, I'm not saying that at all.
No.
But they have to look at the 30-year tax.
Well, I'm looking at the Westport budget. I mean, utilities was almost $30,000 last year. Like, our rate is only 85,000 for utilities. What are they running down there
why are that
in Westport? It's almost $30,000 for utilities.
for utilities? Yeah.
That's a lot. Stuff like that could lower your village tax rate if you understood where you're drawing that electricity from.
Yeah, one thing that I understood from discussing with the Freeport Village Commission is that a big part of their budget goes into two items that are zero value, added value. One of them is audit, and the other is insurance. You're not serving your community with audit and insurance. And that was like 2/3 of their budget was going to that, something absurd like this. So basically, the community is paying to the insurer and the audit, right? And I'm thinking here, so what is there anything that we can do as a municipality to preserve the value of a village commission while doing away with that compliance?
We can't do it,
burden?
that's only up to the village and their people.
Yeah, that's right.
And
So let me
that's the
reformulate this. Is there any way we can support them in creating a structure that delivers the same value of the village commission, which is articulating local needs,
Well,
providing
I would
local
say
services?
We should look at something like Bear River. They're not a village,
Mm-hmm.
and they have, like the, tourism committee, or they have things that there, but they don't have a village.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Again, that would be up to, we can't dictate or say at any point, and I just want that well known, because they are their own entity.
Yep.
I know there was a while, several years ago, that the province was saying there would be no more villages, there will be no more towns, and that there's some villages that they should be looked at, because are they necessary?
Mm.
I
Yeah.
can't answer if they are or not.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I think the value of the villages is clear to me, at least as a councillor. I love to have villages in my district because I can talk straight with them, right? And they do a lot of the legwork that otherwise I would have to do, right? So I can focus on coordinating things and articulating them in council instead of like making phone calls and like saving a lot of time. And actually it delivers more value to the local people because they know what they actually need. Like it takes me a long time to ramp up and understand what's the problem that they're trying to solve. They know it already. They start up, and then by the time I get involved, really is about, okay, well, this is what we want to do. How can you help us? And say, okay, I'll look at proposals, right? Like the report there, things like that. I would love if in Little River I could have a little village kind of thing there. Sandy Cove, same
Not
thing.
allowed new villages, are just.
Not allowed new villages. Yeah, I know. But if there was a
And again, that would
resident
be more
association
taxes
there, right?
For Little River.
Hmm?
That would make more taxes for Little River.
Yeah,
So
no,
because
that's the point.
Looking at a little
I think what
village
Peter's saying is he likes the idea of the community having a group that's focused on community issues, which I think they still will. Like,
Yeah, I
they're
think so.
still-
Yeah, they don't need the
Even if
formal
you
entity of
don't
the village, right?
I mean, Centerville would want that. I mean, Bear River uses Board of Trade to do all of that. Yeah.
And what they do is they go to the province, but then they do the same thing as we do. There's grants out there they go after.
Yeah.
They need to have, that group needs to do that work.
Mhm.
It's
And
not
I
having,
mean,
how do we lower the taxes? It's, well, go to the province and get your grant money for certain projects you want to do, and look at your budget. You know, I can't speak on Freeport's budget; it's not on there, but you know, there might be ways to cut costs or initiatives that maybe they can get grants from the government to help with some of those projects they're doing down there. I don't know what they are, but
Yeah, what I'm thinking is, you remember in the strategic planning there, one of the drivers there of our strategy for these 4 years was around community empowerment. Right? So the villages are an expression of community empowerment. Like, so what I'm thinking is, can we create sort of a package that allows these groups to get out of the formal structure of the village, but maintain the value they create, and we support them in doing that transition. Right?
Well, I think we could support them in the sense that we listen to them, like we could invite them to speak to us and things like that. But ultimately, it's up to them.
That's what I mean.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
can't.
Ultimately, it's up to them. But and speaking with them, I saw that some people they don't know, and some others say, yeah, you know, if we did that, I would vote for dissolving the village and but maintaining the community organization.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's what a lot of them do, is have community organizations.
Freeport did have a good group down there. Then they had kind of like a trade. I don't know what happened to it, but they would come here. We'd write letters of support, and they would ask for some community grant money. We couldn't fund every project they did, but they did a lot, and I don't know if they're still doing it, but they would come to us for letters of support. They would go to the province, and they were doing a lot. They had an art gallery down there. They made a greenhouse. They did this, and you know, we've always supported them. It's just, and I'd be the first one to say I'd love to lower taxes because everybody wants the taxes lowered, but
They want their property values to go up.
that's right, and they want the services. And it's hard when you're running. Well, we've got transit, we've got dark, we have police, education. The prices are all going up, so to keep it at $1.30, we're doing really good because
you're fighting to keep it down there.
the town of Digby already put their tax rate up this year, and I mean I'm not looking to put it up this year. Hopefully they'll have to, but we don't want to get to that.
And that's an example where they did that because they figured out their expenses, it was higher than what the revenue was going to be, and they did the math and they figured out what they had to put it up. It's just something you have to do. Your expenses dictate your rate.
Yeah.
Could be a lot worse than Halifax, where it goes up 5 or 6% a year.
Yep.
More. Well, I think it's putting out the ideas there.
Good to put the information out at budget time. It can be rediscussed and looked at. You know, but and if at any time the villagers want to come and talk to council, that's their game. But I just want to make sure it's understood. We can't tell them to close up. That's what I was trying to say. You can't go down there and say, you know, maybe you should get rid of you and do this. That's not that's a no-no.
And then the majority of the people down there want to have PBSC go down and do an extensive law. I mean, I would suggest that you would want a majority because I'd hate to get PBSC down there and
It
then all
would
of a
be for
sudden.
all of us. It wouldn't just be for one.
I think what Matt's saying is sometimes it might increase your assessment.
Well, this is it.
Yeah.
You know, that lady got lucky with $100,000 drop. That doesn't happen all the time. Sometimes they go up 100,000. And then when you come in with your, you know, thinking $5,000 tax bill was bad, and you're gonna pay $6,000. There's no going back. So that's the issue with it, right? So,
Thank you. I think that's really good information and gives us a lot of thought. And I appreciate that. But that's the only thing I'm saying about, like I said, I know Annapolis County's around 20-some houses and we're 74, it said the other day on the paper. I thought we were 80-something, but 72. Yeah.
72, yeah. I thought our population up too, but
anyway, and you know, like I said, you have to look at what brings in a tax rate to keep it down. Sometimes you got the right business. They, like Kingstown, they have Michelin.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, so their tax plus, they, again, they're the second biggest municipality, not counting Cape Breton. All right, we will go on. The next, we have received correspondence. The first one is from the municipality of Clare, and they would like to put Warden Yvonne LeBlanc and Councilor Danny Hill on the task force, which I think is wonderful. So that's number one. The next one came from Yarmouth, and they are willing to participate. They didn't suggest any one counselor yet. And then the town of Digby are willing to be part of it as well. Again, with no suggestion of people. That is up to each organization who they think.
Yeah. Did we hear back from the village wing? Did we hear back from the village wing? They were on it before. I remember we sent a letter to them.
Well, we didn't send a letter to them.
Okay.
I mean,
Didn't we?
we could reach out to them.
Yeah. But the village was on it before. The 101 was right outside there, so.
I don't think they attempted a lot though.
Yeah, I remember they brought
Irwin down.
Erwin either be here or Mr. Frizzle. Soon.
All righty. So there is our three. Now we will go to council district report. And who would like to start today? How about you?
I'll go.
You gave me about half a second to decide amongst yourselves. And then
Point of me,
No,
I can
no,
do.
we already started saying
I'm
it.
ready. I have it
What do you want me to say?
I attended the Nova Scotia Federation of Municipalities Conference in Halifax the first week in November. I went to many seminars such as governance strategy and public trust. I had a lot of information on running meetings, engaging the public, and how to present yourself with other leaders. I networked with many councillors in neighboring districts such as Yarmouth, Annapolis, Argyle, Barrington, and Shelburne. I attended the Barton Area Remembrance Day ceremony at the Barton Cenotaph. As always, Marlene Haight does an excellent job putting it together and reading off each member who has been involved in the wars from our district. Thank you. I attended the open house at Barton School. I took many pictures of the newly developed apartments. I was amazed how my elementary school was transformed into a modernized apartment building. It has a special community room downstairs, and it's still the hub of our community that keeps on giving. Nice spot. After the Barton School open house, I briefly met with Minister of Municipal Affairs John McDonnell and his staff members. Also met with Deputy Minister Paula Flesch. I made mention of the importance of the completion of Highway 101. The province needs to finally connect true access along the southwest shore. Minister Flesch said they were in favor to do so as long as there is federal money to help finance it. I attended the Digby Area Recreation Commission Christmas dinner. Cindy O'Neill was presented with her 20 years of service certificate. Mayor Bartlett spoke and was very pleased with how Dark has responded to the challenging year with some major breakdowns, but how staff has worked hard to get the funding to do the repairs. They fixed up the washrooms, they got the new electric Zamboni wrapped with advertising, and it's working well. And they hosted a major Legends of Hockey event to start the season. That's pretty good. I've also taken many calls on water supply, garbage, and road maintenance. I was pleased to see that the large bush by McDonald's was taken down so that many people could safely see past it turning up towards Conway. Like I've done last week.
John?
Continue to attend the regular council and committee meetings. We all met with Jill Balser in Halifax and toured Province House as her guests. I attended the provincial launch of the Extended Producer Responsibility Program for packaging and paper with Ordinance Gregory. And I was present for the NSFM AGM. I continue to make myself available to the Smiths Cove residents at the Fire Hall Coffee every Thursday, and the Bear River residents at the community kitchen on Tuesdays and senior days once a month. The notice has gone out about the opening of the Jacka Center of Excellence this weekend, and I'm looking forward to attending that. I continue to attend the Bear River Fire Department breakfasts and help when needed. Final plans have been completed for the Smiths Cove Community Potluck and annual tree lighting on December 7th. Most recently met with a few Smiths Cove residents regarding air quality concerns about an incident in the Cove, and environment enforcement is looking into the matter. I did attend many of the craft shows and events that are happening through the district as part of the Christmas season celebrations, and with the Barton School open house, and met with Mr. McDonald as he was collecting feedback from all of the districts. I took part in both the Bear River and Smiths Cove Remembrance Day ceremonies, presenting wreaths on behalf of the municipality. I have to say both ceremonies were very well attended.
Fantastic, thank you. George?
Let's see, we started off the month with, NSFM in Halifax, from Tuesday to Friday noon. Got home and went and met with, Jill Bolster and the fire department. So we're looking at adding a piece on the front of the building to store their trucks in, and using the other part of the building now that has a truck. Place for to rent out, like as a hall, or have some commercial grade kitchen equipment in here. So just let Jill know about that, so that there's possible some money coming down along the way. The school in St. Mary's Bay had a Remembrance Day ceremony on the 10th of November. There was refreshments after. Then on the 11th, the Remembrance Day ceremony at the Legion. We attended that. The few wreaths. Prominent figure in the community, John Jones, been waiting for almost a year to get to see the Barton School, and missed it. Missed it when it was the opening. Festival of Trees is on in Weymouth. They're not doing the gala this year. We're having tea on the 4th of December. And 2 and 3, 2 sittings, 1 at 2, 1 at 3. And a few phone calls about ditches that have been dug. We're flowing and stuff, so
Peter?
So to me, for a change, multiple public work requests. There was one about brush cutting off the Cove Road. It wasn't done. We'll discuss with Tony next week. There was a beaver building a dam in a ditch in Sandy Cove, and lots of issues like that. There was a Freeport Remembrance Day, very, very nice celebration that they did there, well attended. Met, again, Raymond Robichaud, 102 years now, veteran, World War II. Had a dinner at the Legion, Joe was there, and for the Little River celebration, we had a team represent the municipality there and lay the municipal wreath. I also had a discussion with an architect that resides in Freeport, well, actually resides in Halifax, but has a second home in Freeport. His name is Frank Palermo. He he has come up in, I think it was in 2020 that he first presented the concept of a project to revitalize the wharf areas in the connecting the islands. And it's a really interesting concept. Makes for a more livable space where people can enjoy and transit there, and perhaps have a little bit of a commercial space for local businesses. So he presented the concept, and I'll try to see what we can do to articulate that. And it's a project with a lot of moving parts, so it's not an easy implementation. I think it's a worthwhile project there that a lot of value for the community. There was the NSFM conference. Good week there. Good takeaways from the conference. There was a tax meeting that we debriefed before. We had the municipal affairs minister meeting, and spent some time looking for a snowplow operator. Now we have the winter coming, and again, it's going to be that situation of having residents complaining about the slow response times and for snow plowing and all that. And as we know, we do have a shed there in Freeport that could be used to provide a much quicker service in the area, but we don't have a snowplow residing there that could operate the machine. So I discussed with some people, no success yet. Some interest. Whenever there is interest, the skills are not there, and the training is not available in time for the season. So we'll have to see if we'll manage to have something by then. What was interesting is that I got interest from a German man who has spent time in the neck, wants to move there from Germany. So he was asking me, "Oh, what can I do to move in there? You know, if I have a job, I can apply for express entry." And said, "Well, can you drive a snowplow?" Right. So we're exploring that option. Of course, like getting papers and all this. It's a little. I don't know how much public works is equipped to doing that, but it's one avenue that we can explore. Not only this person will come, but he will come with his family, which is something that we need in the area. Right? We need families with young children and all that, and I think that would be a great addition to the community. I also yesterday met Jo Balser. She came for a pop-up office in the Digby Fire Hall. We discussed various issues for the area. Among them there was cell phone coverage for the area. The concept of a community foundation, really interesting idea that came from that discussion with Frank. There's a huge opportunity coming up in intergenerational wealth transfer. So you have a lot of people aging now who will leave their assets to the next generation. In that transfer, there's an opportunity to ask these people, look, you have lived in this community all this time. Would you like to leave something to the betterment of the community, right? And there is a group in Canada. It's Canada wide. They are a fund. They manage the assets and they help you set up the foundation. And I think in the Neck and Islands area, there's a special potential to doing that. And I think it's something we'd like to explore. So the discussion with Joe was more like, how can we enable this, and does that are you aware of anything like that? And finally, we discussed the aforementioned work project there, and what are the resources that we could explore and how to get public works involved in that.
Okay, I attended the NSFM. I did tour provincial posts that are underway. I attended the launch of circular materials. I attended our Remembrance Day service. I attended the Bear River Fire Department breakfast. I usually sell tickets. I've attended many craft shows. We all had a meeting with Minister McDonald. I attended the New Horizons Tea on Saturday, which I have now been invited to come to Tuesday meetings to get-togethers. We had the dark Christmas thing where certificates were given out. And I think that besides dealing with people with concerns over our roads as usual and various concerns I have been dealing with.
And the smiling cookies.
Oh, yes, I
forgot
forgot.
that.
And Peter actually came up and helped with the smile cookies.
Yeah.
And I got to stand outside those days that I was there because they wanted me to talk to the people because they said, I talked to friends.
You have to wear a fire suit.
I did on the second day. The first day, the poor kid offered me his fire suit. And I looked at him and I said, which leg? So the second time, the guy that I did no problem. But the gloves are not warm. The gloves are cold. The gloves I had on both products, there were two different pairs of gloves, cold.
Probably
And,
wet.
yeah, but I had a good time talking, and both times I had a young fire. No, well, I had to be outside with. I had a young firefighter with me each time, and he did a great job too. He said to me, I laughed. He said, "Is there anybody you don't know?" He says, "That one wouldn't even open their window for me." And he says, "You go up." Hi, Linda, what are you doing? But again, sometimes people are uncomfortable, and then sometimes when people, oh yes, it's someone I don't have to be afraid of, But yeah, we had it was a nice time, and Peter got to decorate, and they went from the Christmas cookies to the chocolate chunk cookies, which they said was a better seller. But it's funny, I like Christmas cookies better. That was my thing. The chocolate chunk.
I like the chocolate chip.
Yeah, see, a lot of people do.
Yeah.
But I don't know how well the Westport Fire Department has done, but I can tell you they worked hard.
Yeah, I think we've done well.
Yeah, I didn't get the numbers yet, but I think they did well.
Well, I'm hoping December.
They're standing outside, I was giving them money, I thought that's what they were there for, I thought they would take a donation.
Well, people, it was funny. Like one guy said, "Well, I don't want a cookie." He gave me some money,
Well,
and I said, "Well, thank you." So I gave it to the young firefighter, put it in his
Yeah, put
pocket,
it in his
take it
pocket.
in after. But yeah, But the other thing was cute. Some of the people that don't bring him cookies. So you need a cookie, young man. Yeah, you need a cookie. I've got your cookie. Eat it. He's looking like, "Oh, thank you, thank you." He says, "I've had too many cookies today."
Yeah.
I said, "It's because you're young." I would say he was about 16, 17 area, a junior firefighter. You're like, yeah, so kids. And he was so nice and polite. He's a nice young man. His name's Katie. And he's really sweet. So that is all our reports. So the next is in camera.
A motion to go in camera.
Contractual and
Contractual
personnel.
personnel.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded, motion carried.